Let's review all of the endocrine organs and glands and other organs that you need to know for your first practical. Move it up. Okay, so the first thing here, we're going to start in the throat here. So this is the larynx, and this part of the larynx forms the Adam's apple. Just inferior or below that, you have the thyroid gland. Going down from there, you have the lungs, right lung, left lung. We remove the lungs and you can see the heart. If this model showed it, you would see a gland right here, just superior to the heart. The gland that would be right here would be your thymus gland. Going down from there, you have your liver, your stomach, your small intestines, your large intestines, and adipose tissue. So again, up in the throat here, you have your larynx up here. So underneath or inferior to your larynx would be your thyroid gland. Then going down from there, you would have your lungs. So the right lung and then the left lung. You have the heart, the liver, the stomach, the small intestines, the large intestines. Large intestines is this big, wide gray structure here. And then your fat, which is your adipose tissue. We pull some of this out. Then you can see another gland here, or organ. See this organ right here? It looks like a wing. This organ is the pancreas. This wide area of the pancreas is going to be the head of the pancreas. This tapered end is going to be the tail of the pancreas. And then you can see these white lines. Those white lines are a structure called the pancreatic duct. So again, this is your pancreas. This general area is the head of the pancreas. The tapered end is the tail of the pancreas. And these white lines in here are the pancreatic duct. Okay, we've removed the intestines and the stomach and the liver. So now you can see the two kidneys, right kidney, left kidney, and the little hat glands that sit upon them are going to be your adrenal glands. So adrenal gland here and adrenal gland here. Kidneys, adrenal glands. Okay, let's go to our next model. Okay, you also are going to have in the males, you're going to have the testes. So this is the male model here. And you see right here, this little white ball, that's the testes. The other male model we have looks like this. And again, you can see down here, this one is a gray one. The testes here is in gray. Then on the female, we have the ovaries. So this is one of our female models. She's falling apart. Okay, this little yellow ball right here, that yellow ball is an ovary. So she'll have one on her left side. And if you tilt up, you can see one way back here on the right side. So the female has ovaries and the male has testes. Another model of the female looks like this. And you can see way back there is that yellow ball called the ovaries. Then you have this model. And this model, again, you can see here the female ovary. In the ovary, what you're looking for is eggs at different stages of maturation. So you see some really teeny tiny right here. Then they get larger and larger. When you have that sac of different levels of maturated eggs, that clues you in that this is an ovary. Okay, we did the thyroid gland here. And remember, this is the larynx, or the Adam's apple of the larynx. So we took that and we blew it up, so you can see they look the same. This one is just much larger. So here you have the larynx. This would be the Adam's apple. The gland just inferior to it is going to be your thyroid gland. And if you flip your thyroid gland back, so you're looking at the back of the neck here, there are, on each side, 2 little sets of BBs that sit upon the thyroid gland. That is your parathyroid gland. So again, from the front of the neck, you're seeing your thyroid gland. From the back of the neck, you can see the thyroid gland, but then you can look closer and you see these BBs. Those BBs are your parathyroid glands. Then again, if you remember, these were your kidneys, and the little hats that sit upon them are your adrenal glands. Here is another model showing your kidney, and the little hat above it is the adrenal gland. So kidney and adrenal gland. Up in the brain up here, we're going to take a brain, we're going to split it open. So in this model here, you're going to have this little white comma back here in this side of the brain. That little white comma right there is the pineal gland. Then you have this little depressed area right here that my finger is running in, right here. That little depressed area is your hypothalamus. Then the little ball that hangs down here is your pituitary gland. So again, the white comma is your pineal gland. This depressed area right here is the hypothalamus. And then this little ball hanging down is a pituitary gland. The pituitary gland hangs down from a stalk right here called the infundibulum. So that little white wire right there is the stalk called the infundibulum. Go into our next model. Let me move the camera a little bit so you can see all of it. Hang on just a sec. There we go. Okay, so this is another one of our models for the endocrine system. So this is going to be up in the brain right here. So this area right here is the hypothalamus, and this is the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland hangs down from this structure called the infundibulum. The pituitary gland has 2 lobes. These will be your big areas. So this big area or general area is going to be the anterior lobe. You know that because the anterior lobe is always darker. Then this general area or big area is going to be the posterior lobe. And you know that because the posterior lobe is always lighter. So this organ or gland right here would be the hypothalamus. This structure right here is the infundibulum. This gland right here is the pituitary gland. This general area is going to be your anterior lobe. You know that because the anterior lobe is darker. This big or general area here is going to be the posterior lobe, and you know that because it's lighter. This is going to be the front of the throat here. So the front of the throat is going to be your thyroid gland. If you turn it around and you look at the back of the throat, you can see in orange here is still your thyroid gland. But now you're seeing on either side your 2 sets of BBs. Those 2 sets of BBs are your parathyroid glands. Going down into the stomach area, the wing-shaped organ there is the pancreas. The broad side is the head of the pancreas. The tapered end is the tail of the pancreas. And that white line is your pancreatic duct. So again, this organ is your pancreas. This general area is the head of the pancreas. This general area is the tail of the pancreas. And the white line here, that structure is your pancreatic duct. Here you have the kidney and the adrenal gland. Remember, your adrenal glands are the little hats that sit upon the kidneys. So adrenal gland and kidney. Then this is the female. So the female's ovaries are going to spread out. So one is on the right side and one is on the left side. This one is not cut open and this one is cut open. So ovary and ovary. Your ovary, remember, is going to have eggs at different stages of maturation. So if you look here, you can see some teeny tiny ones up here and they get larger and larger. So these eggs are at different stages of maturation. So again, this is an ovary and this is an ovary. Then in the male, this is the testes right here. And then if you can see inside these testes, those white lines, Those white lines are structures called seminiferous tubules. So again, this organ or gland is a testes, and those little white line structures are seminiferous tubules. Now let's go to our next endocrine model. Our next endocrine model looks like this. So this one right here, this is going to be the pituitary gland. So in the pituitary gland hangs down from a stalk. That stalk is called the infundibulum. So that's the structure there, the infundibulum. This gland is your pituitary gland. This big or general area is going to be your anterior lobe. Remember, it's darker. And this big or general area is the posterior lobe. Remember, your posterior lobe is lighter. Now, when we cut it open and we look microscopically, we can see specific areas. The specific area here is your pars distalis. So it's darker, think dark distalis, pars distalis. This lighter area over here, this specific area is called your pars nervosa. And then right where the dark and the light meet, this specific area is going to be your pars intermedia, because intermediate means between two things. So again, the dark is pars distalis. Remember, dark distalis. Pars nervosa. And then at the dividing line here is going to be between your light and dark. It's going to be your pars intermedia. Then the specific area that goes up this stalk or up this tube is going to be your pars tuberalis. So remember, general is going to either, general or big area is going to be your anterior lobe or your posterior lobe. And then specific areas is going to be your pars. Pars distalis, pars intermedia, pars nervosa, pars tuberalis. Up in the brain right here, the little comma structure in the back over here is going to be your pineal gland. Then right here where it's dark reddish, kind of a reddish purple there, that is going to be your hypothalamus. And then this little ball thing hanging down right here is the pituitary gland. So pineal gland, hypothalamus, pituitary gland. Then going down from there, now we're in the throat. You know that because here's the Adam's apple, okay? Sitting just inferior to the Adam's apple is the thyroid gland. We take this thyroid gland and we blow it up over here. You can see this general area is the right lobe of the thyroid gland. This general area is the left lobe of the thyroid gland. And this bridge between the two lobes, this is called your isthmus. So right lobe, left lobe, isthmus. And this is your thyroid gland. Now we take that thyroid gland and we're going to turn the neck around so you're seeing the back view. All of this pink is going to be your thyroid gland, but now you say 2 white sets of BBs. Those BBs are going to be your parathyroid glands, and they're the little white bumps here. Then so we're up in the throat up here. Now we're going down. The thymus would sit right here. Remember, the thymus sits just superior to the heart, but it's not on any of our models, so that would have to be asked from a picture. So the thymus again would sit right here, just superior to the heart. Then you have the heart. Going down from that, you have the 2 kidneys. So you see kidney here, kidney here. Sitting upon the kidneys, you have your triangular glands called your adrenal glands. You take those adrenal glands and you blow them up, and that's what you're seeing right here. So this is the adrenal gland. The adrenal gland has a skin type structure called the capsule. Then if you turn it, you can see this yellow general area here is going to be the adrenal cortex right here. And the white general area or large area is going to be your adrenal medulla. So this structure is the capsule. This general area in darker yellow is going to be the adrenal cortex, and the white area is going to be your adrenal medulla. So the medulla is always in the middle. So if I have a sticker here and say, what is this gland? This organ or gland is going to be the adrenal gland. If I haven't moved that sticker, but I change the question and say, what is this structure? This structure is the capsule, okay? And then your adrenal cortex is going to be the first layer underneath that capsule. And your adrenal medulla in white here is going to be all the way in the middle. And those would be big or general areas. Then going down from there, we have the pancreas. Remember, the pancreas is that wing-shaped organ. This general area that is broad is the head of the pancreas. This tapered end right here is the tail of the pancreas. And it's harder to see in this model, but the little white lines in there would be your pancreatic ducts. If we look microscopically, when we're looking at the pancreas, what we'll see is little wads of lighter colored cells. Those wads of lighter colored cells are your pancreatic islets or islets of Langerhans. So again, this would be microscopic for the pancreas. And this wad of lighter colored cells is your pancreatic islets or islets of Langerhans. Then remember, in a female, the female's ovaries are split way apart, one way on the right side, one way on the left side. So this ball right here and this ball right here are both ovaries. We take that ovary and we blow it up. Here's the ovary blown up. And again, you see those eggs at different stages of maturation. So this is your ovary right here, cut open. Then for the male's testes are going to hang down from the midline of the body or midline of the torso. So these would both be testes. We take that and we blow it up, and this is the testes here. When you look real close, you see those blue lines. Those blue lines are structures called the seminiferous tubules. So this is testes down here. This is the testes blown up. So this organ or gland is a testes. Those structures in the blue lines right there, those are your seminiferous tubules. And that concludes the endocrine system.